First Nation and Native American Reservation Sightings, Part 16, Norway House, Manitoba Cree Nation. The Manitoba sighting of 2005 generated an enormous amount of frenzied media play. On April 16th of that year, First Nation man by the name of Bobby Clark from the Norway House Cree Nation Reserve at Mission Island, Manitoba, was operating a cable ferry that carried traffic across the Nelson River. He testified that he saw the creature at quite a distance. It was the same Sasquatch-like creature that his people referred to as elder beings or elder brothers. He ran and grabbed his camera and took a fair amount of footage, but the distance was too great to get any real detail. As with most of us who have had sightings, Clark took a fair amount of criticism, the usual Bigfoot cacophony, but I personally believe deeply in his story. There was no way he could have anticipated what was to have occurred that morning. In fact, on video, he outlines how he had to run to get his camera to record the event. That doesn't sound like a man who knew there was going to be a sighting that morning, but the media, as usual, had a field day. The disbelieving press has done much to discredit any meaningful progress where witness information is concerned. It is no wonder people are reticent when it comes to reporting what they know and what they've been witness to. Language and fire. In the latter days of 2011, there was a discussion on Dmitry Bayanov's private discussion list concerning fire usage by the Hare people. The use of fire and the questions and doubts that are inherent in such a session of brainstorming proved interesting. Fire usage. For my part, I expressed concerns for how the Sasquatch survives the deep snows of winter in such regions as the Alaska, the Yukon, and the Northwest Territories, and even Alberta, Canada. There is no suggestion in my data that they migrate or travel great distances in winter. That is no data that shows a northern footprint showing up in the southern states or vice versa. My data shows way too many footprints in snow for me to think they leave a given region during winter months. There is no escaping a brutal winter without fire or warmth unless they go underground. There is much testimony from surviving concubine captives, both First Nation and Native American women, that the Sasquatch indeed uses fire to light deep underground caverns and cook by. Captive Indian women did not eat raw game or raw fish. It was either preserved by smoking, sun-drying, or salting methods, or directly placed over an open fire pit or adobe ovens, which required fire. Who taught who the secrets of starting a fire? The autochthonous people or the Sasquatch? The Seraphim Long story not only mentions fire, but she was clear that her captivity was in a cave. Most volcanic mountains are said to be mined with tunnels and underground rooms that are warmer than above winter air. If true, no wonder volcanic regions have centuries of Bigfoot sightings. There is a report that lists the Sasquatch removing nuisance bats from the ceilings of caves by smoking them out, which is a use of fire notice. Perhaps the use is limited to winter months. We just don't have enough data to state absolutes, and what few first-hand accounts we have concerning the fire usage has been pretty much ignored. There are, of course, oxen, yak, foxes, caribou, elk, and moose that survive winters in those regions quite well. They are as robust in their own way as the Sasquatch, but they are not primates. They are all quadrupeds with natural leg and foot adaptations to withstand extreme temperatures. Primates are not physically built to withstand sub-zero temperatures, which is why finding footprints left by the Sasquatch traversing miles and miles of deep snow mystify me. How is it that accomplished without some manner of foot protection? Why don't their feet and ankles freeze? Recent work with the Neanderthal genome may have the answer. Analysis of DNA obtained from Neanderthal remains has revealed key differences from modern humans that suggest their bodies produce excess heat. Perhaps cold climates might provide the Sasquatch species with an advantage. I'm hopeful DNA will decipher all that information. In February 2001, a member of the Hoopa Nation in Humboldt County, California, sent me the Hoopa Nation's ancient terminology for Bigfoot. What the whites refer to as Bigfoot, in the words of our ancients, is Tinta Ka'un Hoya'in, and its meaning is boss of the mountain. My grandmother told me the haired one was never anything to be feared. She made the Tinta Kaun o Ya'in to almost be heroic in a sense. Vision Rider, Hoopin Nation. When Vision Rider was a young boy, he went hunting in the woods with his grandfather. The trail began on an old logging road. This is what he wrote. We had not seen anything most of the morning. My grandfather was about 20 feet in front of me when he stopped dead in his tracks and looked around. I was looking around for a deer or bear. I began to smell something very sour, almost like a skunk, but not quite the same smell. I had no idea what it was, since I knew firsthand what a skunk smelled like. Grandfather walked back to me and told me to get in the bushes and stay there. I did as I was told and waited quietly and patiently. Then I heard something about 50 feet away. Hell, the way the woods echo sound, it could have been farther, but I was young and a little scared, so I figured it was close. My grandfather stood straight up and began making loud noises, stomping his feet and laughing. I had no idea what he was doing and did not know what to think. The sound stopped and disappeared. Now chalk some of that up to Indian folklore and beliefs, but I know something was there and my grandfather knew exactly what it was. I have since longed to smell the sour smell again and maybe even see the Bigfoot. I have been in the woods thousands of times and never had quite an ordeal since, but I have seen things that are rather curious. I have seen trees debarked several feet higher than a bear can reach to scratch. I have seen fish remains in the creeks that seem to have been cleaned, but with not a knife. I am a believer and have heard many tales of the creature over my lifetime. Vision Rider of the Hoopa Tribe, August 12, 1999. Calvin Rube, a Yurok Indian, stands by his home atop a lonely mountain overlooking the Klamath River in Northern California, and while reflecting, he is quoted as saying, "The Bigfoot was known to my people as the traveler, or the one who is on patrol, the patroller. It's his job to keep nature and men in harmony. Although he has never seen Bigfoot, Rube said he has heard its cry on two separate occasions. One time, he said, it made a paleface jump clean over the campfire. The other time, we found his track the next morning. It was 18 inches long. Before the track, there was a sapling that had been broken off 10 feet above the ground." Site, San Francisco Chronicle, December 6, 1965. Written by George Draper's Animal Men of the Northwest. To be continued, and thank you for listening. There will be many parts to the reading of this book. If you like this reading, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification button to be sure to catch the future parts. We welcome comments, but please be considerate of others. If you have had an experience with or about Bigfoot, cryptids, UFOs, paranormal, or any other strange happenings and would like to share them on our channel to be read, please email them to sharingofstrangestories@gmail.com. Our goal is to establish a channel that can provide an outlet for people to speak freely of their experiences without ridicule from others. There are many of us out there that have had these experiences and have felt that ridicule, but ridicule will not be welcome here. Emails will be read on our channel, so please keep them family friendly. If you want to remain anonymous and do not want your name read to the public, please put that at the beginning of the email or in the subject line. Thanks again for listening and stay safe.